Let's go. All right, welcome back, fail-safe investors. It's a company that I've been seeing in a lot of chat groups that I'm in. Even my personal friends and even my brother, TB, told me about this company to look into called Nikola Motors, or Nikola Motors, like Nikola Tesla. And pretty much this company is supposed to be the next big thing. It's supposed to be like Tesla's big competitor. So Nikola Motors is supposed to be like a electric with a hydrogen motor truck or semi-truck motor company. And the thing is, before this company went public, they was pretty much just an idea, and they pretty much merged with the company Vector IQ or Victor Q, which is like VTIQ ticker symbol, to pretty much go public sooner than later. So since Nikola Motors just recently went public or just had their IPO under the ticker symbol NKLA, I pretty much looked into them, and this is pretty much what I found. And I'm going to use this video to explain to you the dangers of like investing based on hype and based on pretty much trends. So you should be very scared of companies like this. Let's just get into it. Since Nikola Motors just went public like a couple days ago to be making this video, they don't really have that much information on them. So I had to pretty much go in on their investor page and pretty much take their word on their company. And even with me doing that and giving them the benefit of the doubt, I still would not invest in this company personally. And I'm gonna pretty much list the reasons why. So one reason, and this is the main reason, they haven't generated any revenue. Now this company has been around since 2015, this is 2020. They haven't generated any revenue. They have a pretty solid business model though. So pretty much they plan on being the world's leading hydrogen motor company. And then right now they're only in trucks and semi-trucks. And they have like a couple models for the trucks. I think it's like Nikola 1, Nikola 2, like a pickup truck, and then they have like one for a jet ski. So they have these ideas and they have prototypes. They have been proven, they have proven prototypes. They have prototypes that people have seen, people have driven around in Arizona. Investors have driven around in these prototypes, but they do not have any products. Now on their website and in a lot of their interviews, like I've watched interviews from the CEO himself, Trevor Milton. I've watched a lot of interviews with him, and I'm gonna say this, it sounds good, but it sounds a little too good to be true. So he's mentioned in interviews that he has 14,000 pre-orders, which equals out to about $10 billion. Or is valued at $10 billion, I should say. That's his exact words, and I want to be careful with the words that I use because I'm going to explain to you how his phrasing is very dangerous. So they don't mention anywhere on the website or anywhere how much the cost of the truck actually is. And instead what they're doing is, their business model is that they'll lease out the trucks, and they say that their trucks is guaranteed for 1 million miles, and then they pretty much lease out the trucks for $1 a mile, and you pay for that up front. So they've mentioned that Anheuser-Busch has purchased 800 trucks, and they said that that's valued up to $800 million because $1 a mile times 800 million, correct? So the math just isn't adding up when you take that type of phrasing and say that they've had an order for like 800 trucks, and that's valued at 800 million, but then you say you have 14,000 pre-orders that's valued at 10 billion. The math just doesn't add up in that sense. And that's his words, that's his phrasing. I can show you like multiple news articles of that, and it just doesn't add up. So technically they haven't produced any trucks yet. They are outsourcing the production right now with a company called IVEC, but even then they haven't produced any trucks. They plan on building a factory in Arizona. I think it's Coolidge, Arizona or something like that. But they plan on building a factory in Arizona to start producing the trucks. And even then, they still don't plan to have a truck leave the assembly line until fall of 2021. So you're still not seeing any income. This company isn't generating any revenue. And that's another thing. They also said that they haven't generated any revenue, even though they have 14,000 pre-orders that's valued at $10 billion. So if you have 14,000 pre-orders that's valued at $10 billion, these companies that have these pre-orders must not have put any like down payment on these companies or these trucks or whatever, or anything of the sort. So you have to look at stuff like that. And then also, their whole business model isn't that they'll make money from the trucks, is that they'll make money from the hydrogen fuel system or structure or network that they plan on building over the years. So what Trevor Milton himself has said that for each truck they sell, they'll take those proceeds and build a hydrogen fuel network. So they plan on having 700 hydrogen fuel networks by 2030, which doesn't sound bad, like a bad idea, but the cost to build a hydrogen fuel system, just one, is in like the millions of dollars. So it's just very like capital intensive, and that's the word that Trevor Milton himself has used to describe right now the stages that this company is in. They call it, they said that the growth of this company will be capital intensive, meaning that it will take a lot of capital to grow this company, which is probably why, and it's just in my own opinion, that they went public so fast. Because usually companies like this that start out with an idea usually take that idea and they go to venture capitalists and they build up the capital, and then they make a lot of money in the private stages before they go public, because once you go public, everything becomes public knowledge. And so since everything is public knowledge, then people can actually look into these companies and see if it's worth the valuation that these companies have and worth paying the price per share. So in my opinion, on the date of their IPO, a lot of analysts valued their company at $3.3 billion. And right now it's sitting at about $35 a share. I would definitely say that's overvalued. That market cap would definitely have to come down some more. I wouldn't pay anything over like $10 to $12 per share based on what we know right now, because they have no revenue, they have no earnings per share, they have no price to earnings, they have no price to sales ratio. You have nothing to evaluate this company truly on other than its ideas. So that's why I wouldn't invest in this company right now. Now, of course, there's a lot of hype behind this company. A lot of people believe that, oh yeah, these can be the next Tesla, but I will advise you to do a little research, and in that research I would advise you to look into a company called NIO, N-I-O, and NIO was pretty much supposed to be China's answer to Tesla, and they're supposed to be the Tesla of China pretty much. And NIO was the same way. They came out of the gate on their IPO selling around $10 to $12 a share, and then pretty much a year later dipped into like $1 a share pretty much. And then now they're selling around maybe $4 to $5 a share. So just because someone has a good idea, a good business model, and can pretty much phrase their company to sound appealing, doesn't mean that you should invest into this company. You have to look into the fundamentals at the end of the day. And that's pretty much how I invest. I look into the fundamentals. A company has to have some revenue. That's the basic, like revenue, not profits, just revenue. You have to be bringing in a revenue, and this company isn't generating any revenue. It's pretty much coming from the horse's mouth, if you want to say. So like I've mentioned, there isn't pretty much any information on this company outside of pretty much Nikola's investors page. I do advise you to go look at the investors page if you do plan on investing in this company, even if it's for the short term, because if you're investing for the short term, just for the short term gain, then the question is, when do you jump out? And right now this company has no fair value, to be honest. So my question would be, when do you get out? When do you take profits and leave? But that's going to depend on when did you get in. Now, before Nikola became incorporated, there was VTIC, and VTIC was selling around $10 a share, maybe like $13 a share, and now they're selling for like $30-something a share. So a lot of investors are already starting to exit this company and take their profits, and that's just based on the chart on it and the technical analysis alone. So I always recommend you do your own research, do a fundamental analysis, meaning look deeply into this company, how they operate, how they make money, not just a technical analysis where you're looking at a chart and looking at the price, because that doesn't tell you the true evaluation of a company. it's very hard to value a company just based off the price alone, because the price is moved by the people. So that's pretty much everything I got on this company. Like I've mentioned, this company doesn't have any vehicles yet. They plan on releasing the first vehicle off the assembly line in fall of 2021. They haven't even built the factory to produce the vehicles yet. And then their main business model is pretty much based on the hydrogen fuel network. That's where they say that most of their income is going to come from. Now, according to them, the total adjustable market for the semi-truck business, which means it's like the service, the truck itself, and the fuel, is like $130 billion. So they plan on receiving a lot of revenue just from the fuel system. They said, and this is from the horse's mouth, Trevor Milton said that he want people to build more affordable hydrogen trucks. That way that those trucks can use their fuel system. But then my question is, what if someone build a cheaper hydrogen fuel network and then take their business? So you always have to look at these type of things. Like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, you have to be aware of trending stocks, as I should say. I haven't said this before, but I try to give advice for long-term investments and not short-term investments, just because you can get caught up in something tragic when you're like pretty much looking for short-term investments. You can like invest in a company that a lot of people are talking about, a lot of people are aware about, and then once it pretty much shoots up, a lot of investors jump out because they want to take that profits and get out, and you can pretty much get caught up in that. So I always try to give advice for long-term investments. That way you can stick to the business model, you can stick to the fundamentals, and pretty much ride out any volatility in a company that you invest in. So that's pretty much my take on Nikola Motors. I would definitely say this is not a buy right now. If you are interested in this company, even if you do like the business model, I would definitely say wait until they are generating at least revenue at the bare minimum. And that doesn't even say that wait until they're like profitable like a lot of companies, but just wait until they're generating revenue, or at least made good on some of the promises that they've talked about. Because in a lot of interviews, they have mentioned the Anheuser-Busch 800 truck order, but they haven't mentioned any of the big like orders. And in one of the interviews that they did with CNBC, they talk about that they'll eventually start mentioning some of these bigger orders, but they never did that. And that was back in March. We're in June right now. So they did a lot of videos talking about how they'll mention some of these orders. Back in April, they did an Analyst Day video, and I'll put the link in the bio, talking about like, you know, they do show you the truck and they show you the warehouse that they're in, that they're operating out of in Arizona right now. And then at the end of that video, they talk about how, you know, stay tuned, and they'll go into the number side of things, and then they don't. And that was like over a month or two ago. So it's just a lot of things to look out for in a company like this, and I just want to say be careful. Now, in the short term, this company can still go up, true. But in the long term, I definitely would say, since they don't have any tangible product right now, I would definitely say hold off until they show you some evidence of something, just something. But that's my take on this company. Like I always say, smash that like button. It helps out my channel. Hit the subscribe button if you already haven't hit the subscribe button. And let's do it.